All right. Hello, knockouts. Tonya TKO here. And I am trying out my first walking vlog in New York. I have a selfie stick and the camera on stabilization. Right now I'm in a park and the sun is shining so brightly. In my old stomping grounds, just having a look around. There's so many things that are different and some things that are the same. You know, I'm just sitting here pontificating. Right now, the trees, as you see, there's no leaves on the trees. Inside the grass, or on the ground, there's all of these leaves that have just fallen off of the tree, and everything is brown and dried up by now. And there's a little lake in the middle that I'm gonna walk past. It just brings back so many memories. And I would say, you know what? I don't really have an agenda for this conversation. I just decided to do or try a walking vlog and just see how it is because, you know, I'm going to be doing some inside the city. So anyway, so there's a pond right there. If you can see that, I'm going to walk around one way, around the pond. But I wanted to say this, just kind of get it off my chest. Right, so this is my first time like walking out and about in New York, and the amount of just sexual harassment, you know, people making men making comments about your body part or about you or whatever, just inappropriately, you know, walking through the park, you know, with myself. I'm like, I really don't want to be approached by random men saying stuff about me. And a woman shouldn't have to hide. One of the things that I'll say is very different in California. In California, like street harassment is not something that exists in most neighborhoods. In the poorer neighborhoods where there are men of color, it exists to a smaller degree, but nothing like how it is out here in New York. Like out here in New York, you know, we've been talking about on the channel, we've been talking about and forgive the wind sounds because I left my wind protector, the little dead cat. I left that in California by mistake, so I don't have another one for my microphone. But so I forgot what I was saying now. But so yeah, so we've been talking about cheating. Something making some sound over here. Lord. So we've been talking about cheating lately and the nature of men, etc. And there's so many women who are just like saying that they rebuke and refuse to hear what it is that I'm saying. And I'm like, you know, how much more evidence do we need? So yeah, so part of it is social, part of it is biological, part of it is socialization. Like I've been thinking to myself, because one guy who just was saying some stuff to me, I had to turn back to him and be like, you know what, that's inappropriate, right? And then he kept on about his business. I'm gonna walk down this way near the pond, and then you have to see this. It's like they have these pussy willows that are like, they're like 8 feet tall. I'm gonna show it to you as we pass by. So he's like saying something to me, and I'm like, that's inappropriate. And then he just went across about his business. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. But yeah, so I will say this, right? Here we are by the lake, and this thing looks disgusting. Oh, it's frozen. How cold is it out here? Look, so if you can see the water right there, can you see it? There's no ducks. I hope somebody saved. I don't see any ducks. I see some stuff floating on the water. Looks like a buoy and some bottles and stuff. But I'll say this, right? It adds an air. It's like, you know what? Oh, I was saying about women, like we're not getting it for some reason. It was like we refuse to really look at what is, right? And so I'm like, how much more evidence do we need to see that, okay, so listen, I didn't say that there were no men I didn't say that there were no men who don't cheat. I just said the vast majority. And then I did say up to a certain age, you know, when the hormones calm down and comes maturity and stuff like that, it's a whole different story. But when we look at just the nature of men, and then also how men are socialized with that nature. So it's like they're socialized into bad behavior, because I'm wondering to myself, what would make a man feel that while I'm walking through the park with myself and no other person besides myself, that it's appropriate for his strange behind to say anything to me about how I look or whatnot? I'm like, don't you understand that this is a potentially very dangerous situation for me? I don't know you, and I don't know what it is that you want and what your intentions are. So you approaching me in some damn park while I'm by myself could get you maced. You know, and for them, they think that this is an appropriate mating strategy. And I don't know if it's working. I don't know if they're socialized into believing that the female being in the female body is here for his comment, here for his display, and here for his choosing. I don't know. But nonetheless, that's one of the things that I like about California. But another thing could be, this could be it also. I don't know, you know what, there's just an air that exists out here, like, yeah, I'm gonna say this to you because I have the right to. You know, it's like, if I don't see any other man near you protecting you, I have a right to say whatever it is that I want to about your being, your body, your looks, your whatever, right? So then anyway, there's some people on the bench back there. Anyway, so one of the things that I do like about California, and one of the differences could be, is that Los Angeles is not a commuter city. So it's like, so it's like, because most people are driving, that could be the difference right there. So that people are like, they don't really have the access. Also, I think it's lower class. Because when I went to, I'm going to do a video, I'm going to do a story time about when I went to Watts right before I left. And when I went to Watts, there was that it wasn't to the same degree that it exists out here. But it's like, you know, people have access to you. Or let me just not even say people. So if I turn this, look, I'm on a bridge right now. The light is so bright, and there's the pond behind me. So it's like, you know, so men have access to you. I'm sorry, in New York, I'm on my guard. You know, so they have access to you, and then they're like, oh, well, what I'm going to do with this access is, you know, shoot my shot or take my chance or whatever. And the crazy part about it is that they know nothing and care nothing about you besides what it is that you look like. All of these squirrels rustling in the bushes out here. So anyway, I just wanted to take a few moments to just have a little conversation while I was walking and talk with you guys and test out my new selfie stick. I know it's weird with this stick just here in front of my camera. And so there's the pond behind me. It's not that, it's so much more beautiful in the spring and summertime. And that's another thing that's so different about Los Angeles. Like, the trees don't really die like how they die here. So, you know, so you get to see the greenery all year. So you see this tree with these leaves, with those leaves that are all dried up there. But we are talking about what, 12 days, 2 weeks until Christmas. And you know, I'm out here with this little jacket on, but this fleece jacket is actually pretty warm. You know, I need to go and buy a heavier jacket just to make sure that, you know, that I'm okay in the winter time or whatnot. But look at these tall pussy willows. They weren't this big years past when I came. You know, look how tall they are now. They're gigantic. So cute. I don't know. I wonder if they're on the water or on the land. They must be on the water, right? Because those things wouldn't grow like that on land, would they? Is my camera clean? Make sure my camera is clean. Hold on. Oh, goodness. You know what? Oh. All right, we're coming upon 10 minutes right now. So I hear all this stuff rustling. All right, so we're coming upon 10 minutes. So they're in the water. So I'm gonna end the video. And so there's the water behind me right there. We're coming upon 10 minutes, so I'm gonna end the video and continue my walk. Oh look, they have a ice rescue ladder right here, tied up. I don't know how that ladder, I would hope that they would have a flotation device on a string, but I guess maybe if it's for I don't know, maybe one of you know what the deal is with that, how they have a ladder to rescue for ice, because if a person falls down in the ice, I don't know. I saw this one video that talked about how you have to kind of shimmy yourself on your belly. Oh God. You know what? I will say this, right? Before I get out of here. One of the things that I've been thinking about recently, I'm going to get the nice lake scene behind me, even though it does not look fertile and pretty. It's all dried up, but I'll get the lake scene behind me anyway. All right. One of the things that I will say is, since I've been back in New York, because you know, since the displacement and all of that, this is my first time in New York. And speaking of being in New York, listen, come out to my live event December 22nd and come meet me in person. So you can see in my community tab on my website, on Facebook, you can see links or whatever on how to get your tickets early. All right, so I'll say this is my first time coming back into New York after the displacement. And so many things are swimming through my mind. And I realized from being back in New York, well, first of all, being back in New York, I feel my spirit just feels more at ease. I feel more calm. I feel more centered, more grounded, just being back on the East Coast. The vibration is so different here. You know, the vibration is just very different. So I'll just say that. And so another thing that I've been really thinking about, right, is I can understand why this is a big puddle down here in the middle of the thing. I'll have to get around this. I think I'm gonna walk on the side where there's some peat. Brother, Lordy, this ground is soft. Okay. Ah. All right, I'll say this, right? Oh, look, a whole bunch of park rangers. You can't see them, and I can't turn my camera around. I'll turn around for you guys. I don't know, can you see them? A bunch of park rangers walking through. So I'll say this, right? I can understand why I chose to stay in my car rather than return back to where I'd given up my apartment, where I had sold all of my stuff. I can understand why I continued to stay in my car, because that was the direction forward. You know, it was the direction going towards my dreams. One of the things that I realized being back home now is life is so short and you got one chance. And it's like, when it comes to really doing you and following your dreams, you have to fight tooth and nail, up to the elbow, come what may, bust your hand down, foot down on the ground, split the earth, climb the mountain, swim the seas type effort to make sure that your dreams come true. It's like you can't take the first no. You can't take the first bump in the road. You really have to dive deep into really claiming what it is that you want out of this life and not taking no for an answer. So one of the things is I can understand why I didn't turn around and come back. And I can also understand why my family didn't come get me. I understand why my father didn't intervene. Because one thing is my father, he knows me. I'm his child, he knows me. I'm looking in the wrong area. I should be looking right there. My pops, he knows me. And he probably knew deep down that I wouldn't have come back, and that I was on a mission. I was on a mission so deep and so strong that I was willing to keep it to myself, that I was willing to sleep in my car, that I was willing to do what it is that it took to continue going forward in pursuit of that dream. And I don't regret it. I do not regret it. And so I before I end this video, I guess if I would say anything to people out there is I would say, listen, for people out there who are like me, who come from an area where many people don't make it, not just not make it to their dreams, don't make it to adulthood, don't make it to prosperity, don't make it out of the neighborhood. For people who come from areas like me, where what it is that you're going towards, where you feel that drive for what it is that you're going towards, right? And not wanting to look back at where you came from in pursuit of where it is that you're going. I'm telling you, listen, you know what? People laughed at me. They ridiculed me. They mocked me. They cursed me. They condemned me. I did not care. I kept going forward. And so if I could say anything to you, I would say, listen, come what may, you gotta want that dream more than you want. I don't know how to put it. You know, I once read this fable about this man who was walking with this master. And the master, he wanted the master to teach him how to be successful. And he walked with the master, and the master walked him out to the water. And he dunked the man's head under the water. And when the guy came up, he was like, "Master, what are you doing? I want to find out how to be successful." And he pushed the boy's head back underneath the water. And he's splashing around. Then he let the boy's head back up. And he's like, "Master, I'm trying to find out how to be successful." And he dunked his head back down again. And when he came up the third time, the master was like, "Listen, when you want success as much as you crave that next breath, like your life depended on it, like your life depends on it, then and only then will you know success." So it's like when it came down to, and you know what, the crazy part about it is all of those people who laughed at me and all this other stuff, I wonder where they are now. I wonder where they are now, because that is what it took. And some of us who don't know what it takes, you know, we can be confused, we can be miffed, we can be mystified, we can be skeptical, we can be angry of other people. Because meanwhile, you know what? Even on my coldest, darkest, scariest day in the car, I felt joy because I knew that I was going. Listen, I didn't know how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, where it was going to happen, but I knew that I was at least going forward in some direction. I knew that, and I continued to push forward. It's like it may not have been where I wanted to be, but it was not where I had come from. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. It wasn't where I had come from, and I knew that even as things were murky, I wasn't stagnant. I wasn't where I was. I was continuing to put one foot in front of the other. And so even on the darkest day, I felt joy, and I felt gratitude, and I felt a bit of completeness, because I knew, because you know what? I'm going to tell you this, right? And I'm going to get out of here for real this time. I'm going to get out of here for real this time. There's nothing like wanting to be somewhere and not taking any steps to get there. The stagnancy, the complacency, and the stuckness feels like its own death. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. And even though I was in after I left my business and after I closed and I was in my car, I wasn't stuck. I wasn't stagnant. And look at the type of life that it led to. It led to me now living off of the grid full-time in an RV where I have the freedom to come and go and live anywhere that I please, underneath no one's thumb and underneath no one's governance, any place. They have this thing called, I forget the name of it, but you guys may know what it is. It's called government sanctioned land or whatever. And they have all of these plots all across the United States where you can stay on government land and there are other people out there. I haven't been on one yet because, you know, I was in hypnotherapy school for the longest, and then now I'm finally out. So now I have the ability to travel and go about where it is that I'm going. So I'm like, look at what my sacrifices, I didn't know it at the time. And like, even though some of you had recommended it to me, I was like, somebody had recommended RV, and I was like, sometimes we don't really realize that the answer is right there, right in front of our face. It's like, sometimes we spend so much time trying to be conventional and trying to do things how other people have done it, that we don't really see that there's nothing wrong with the things that come to you naturally. There's nothing wrong with it. Like when we talk about men who are cheating and the propensity that they have to enter into extramarital affairs or extra relationship affairs, etc. If they would only talk to themselves and listen to themselves and realize there's nothing wrong with your impulses. If you want to be in an open relationship, find a person who wants the same thing too. Don't lie, don't cheat. Listen to your natural instincts. It took me a long time fighting against my natural instincts. You all know that I love to travel. You know that you guys know that I'm a bit of a rebel. You know, you guys know that I buck the system. You know that I'm a freedom fighter. You know that I'm a lot of these different things. So it's like, what better way to be all of those things? You guys know that I like to own my stuff. Like when I left that loft that I'd rented for the years that I had my business, and I gave my landlord the key, all of these, I spent more than $70,000 in that place and had nothing to show for it at the end of the day. I'm not interested, sir. Okay, I'm still not interested. You see that I'm doing something right now, right? When I gave back in my key, I had nothing to show for it. So it's like, with all of that being said, you know, with all of that being said, sorry, just these people are just ridiculous. With all of that being said, what better way to have everything that it is that I want? So on last note, all I'm going to say is listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. And you know what? I'm sorry that you guys had to see me bark on that person like that. I'm agitated just with these people, and I'm agitated by it. Anyway, so listen, I will talk to you all in the next video. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself. You know what? I really wish that we would get a cultural shift. Even with all of this Me Too movement and all of this stuff going on, it's like some of these men just still aren't getting it. They're just still not getting it. And they're still continuing with this behavior. I hope that enough of us can come together to change this culture in New York. It's like, God, anyway, listen, on that note, I want to hear your comments below. I know that this was a kind of a long video to get to the end point, and maybe I'll break it up, I don't know, but I'm going to upload this nonetheless because this is my walking vlog, and you all said that you love my walking vlogs, and now I see why. Some wisdom somewhere during the walk begins to unfurl. And on that note, I'll see you all in the comments. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.